But right now, we've got a special guest who is joining us. He's been a frequent guest. We haven't had him on in a while, so very pleased to have him on the program today. He's a trend expert, visionary, keynote speaker, trusted worldwide as the foremost authority on forecasting, analyzing, tracking trends. Gerald Celente is the publisher of the Trends Journal, also author of Trends 2000 and Trend Tracking. Gerald Celente joining us on the hotline this morning. And Mr. Celente, good morning. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me back, Jeff.
Oh, it's great to hear from you. You've been super busy, right?
Oh, yeah. What's going on is unprecedented. I've been at this for 30 years, and I've never been so overwhelmed nor concerned as I am right now.
You know, I was just talking to a guest earlier about Libya, Syria, Egypt, all these countries that seem to be just heading into chaos. And I'm worried about this country and everything happening here, and it just seems like worldwide it's conflicts happening everywhere. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, we've been talking, I guess well over a year I've been on your show.
Right.
And if you go back a year ago, last spring, our Trends Journal was the Great War. And we had forecast that a great war would begin very shortly, and it has begun. And that's what this next Trends, the current Trends Journal is, 1 year later, the first great war of the 21st century. It's begun. You know, it's not like, like when you're a kid, they teach you, World War I began when they assassinated the Archduke Ferdinand at Sarajevo. No, it didn't. It began before that. And that's what's happening now. These aren't one-offs. And it's not only in the Middle East and North Africa, what you're seeing going on in Greece with the riots, in Spain, in Portugal, in Ireland, all the problems they're having and going to have more of, in Italy, in the UK. My line, you've heard me say before, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And that's what's going on. These wars have nothing to do with democracy or autocracy or freedom. It's very simple. You have a lot of young people between the ages of about 18 and 28. They have university degrees in worthlessness. They're living, if you're an Egyptian, on average $10 a day, lower if you look at somebody else's numbers. Mm-hmm. Food prices and the cost of everything is skyrocketing, and they're not stupid. Here's the deal. The pigs at the top are taking everything. They like to call it corruption. When the money stops flowing down to the man on the street, the blood starts flowing in the streets. This is all predictable and has been predicted. We said when the bailout bubble bursts, we wrote this in 2008, after the Bush TARP program and all of these stimulus programs began. We said when this bubble bursts, the next thing that will happen is they'll take you to war. And here we are, all of a sudden, out of the blue. Here, try this one on for size. I've decided unilaterally that the core interests of the United States and those of our allies are at stake. So we're going to send humanitarian bombs over Libya. And not a peep out of the public. Another war, another day.
It was lost in the fog of other issues. And you're right. We're there. I think I read that we were going to be there, quote, days. Now it's been it's been months.
Yeah, and here's the other part of the tragedy. All of this flooding going on.
Yeah.
Tornadoes ripping through.
Mm-hmm.
And these people get out there and say how much the government is helping them. We spent over $1 billion in Libya. They're throwing chump change to the American people, treating them like beggars on the streets as they lose everything. They don't care about this country. And I have to tell you this, Jeff. Anybody calls up after I get off the line, if they have a problem with me, I want to make it really clear. Here's the deal. You want to go to war in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Libya, Iran, anywhere, take yourself, take your kids, take your wife, send your money, and go lead the charge. I've heard enough of this, what we have to do. You go. Get out of the White House onto the white horse. All you big-mouth politicians over there in Louisiana, your senators and congressmen that say what we have to do, go. You need somebody to do the laundry over there, clean the floors. We're sending military contractors now. You have people doing deals. Go fight on the front lines. Go treat the wounded. And send your money. I don't want to spend another dime.
You know, you make a great point. How much money is all this costing? And then there's a debate about, well, we got to keep funding Pakistan, got to keep spending billions in foreign aid there.
I don't want my money going anywhere. And I'm tired of these people telling me what I have to do and what I have to believe. They're losers. They're losing in Afghanistan. They're losing in Iraq. Oh, isn't it wonderful, 90 people got blown up today in Pakistan?
Right.
They're losers. We're listening to losers. The same jerks that we hated in high school and college that wanted to be class president and head of the student council are now telling us what's good for us.
I just had a caller tell me that Barack Obama's approval rating is now soaring because of the Osama bin Laden killing, and saying that my comments that the poll was not accurate were off target, and I was just complaining because I don't like Obama. But your thoughts on the whole Osama bin Laden story, and of course what today is the first and what they promise to be a series of retaliations?
Again, I don't tell people what to believe. Our motto at the Trends Journal is think for yourself. All right, here's the story. Yeah, we got him, and then we fit him with these cement shoes, and now he's sleeping with the fishes. And it was really a wicked firefight that went on for 40 minutes. And he used his wife as a human shield. And the story keeps changing. Here's the real story. Go back 4 days before this thing. And Osama bin Laden has been dead, metaphorically or for real. He didn't count for anything. Who was talking about Osama bin Laden before this?
Nobody.
No one.
Yeah.
Even George Bush put him away. He wasn't even dealing with it. So here's what's going on, Jeff. A couple of days before, 4 days, April 27th, Ben Bernanke, the real public enemy number one of this country, Osama bin Bernanke, he gets out there and says, listen, folks, I'm going to keep funneling cheap money into the system. We call it low interest rates. I'm going to keep printing digital dollars not worth the money they're not printed on. By the time he got off the stage, gold prices shot up $20 an ounce. Silver went up $2 an ounce. The dollar hit a 3-year low against the trade weight basket of currencies. 2 days after that, the tide starts turning against Obama again. They bomb Gaddafi's son's house and kill his 3 kids. Donald Trump is down his throat, making a mockery of Obama. The next day, by Monday morning, everything turned around.
Yeah, right.
Everything. Commodity prices crashed. Trump is out of the news. Obama's a hero. And by the way, who made up this thing that, this is justice? It's an assassination. Call it what it is. And these aren't warriors. They're a hit squad. These guys had enough body armor on them to go through the Battle of the Bulge unscathed. And I'm sick and tired of hearing this word, compound. Did you see this place?
No, it's like a glorified shack.
Yeah, glorified shack. And you see his command and control center. It looks like a guy that's a homeless guy in a single-room occupancy hotel with a TV picked up out of a dumpster.
Yeah, it looked like a 73 Magnavox, it looked like.
So the whole thing, here, and why would anybody believe the government? Read my lips, no new taxes. I'm no crook. I didn't have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I smoked, but I didn't inhale. Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Hey, remember those Vietnamese that never attacked us at the Gulf of Tonkin? Why would any thinking adult believe one word that they tell them?
Do you have time for a call or two?
I have time for one.
All right, let's squeeze in one. It's Gerald Celente with us, trendsjournal.com, and James is with us. Hey, James, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Jeff, and hello to your guests. I'll try to make this quick. Mr. Celente something that I don't understand is this Chicago Mercantile Exchange being able to raise these margin requirements. I think for silver, it was something like 5, I think, within a 10-day period. I could be a little off there, and then they raised the requirement, the margin requirement on oil. What is going on? Who gives these guys the power to do this? How do they do it? And your overall impression of what went on over the past 2 weeks with these commodities and these increased margin requirements, which I think had a direct impact on the, let's say, precious metals markets and the oil market.
Good question, James.
Did. They raised them 84% in 2 weeks. 84%. This is what everybody should understand. Bernie Madoff did an interview for New York Magazine on February 27th. He did it over the telephone. It's a dumb interview. You could get it online. He said, "I'm sorry about what I did. I feel bad." But he said 2 things in this that everybody should pay attention to. And coming from Bernie Madoff, I believe it. He said, number one, when he got into the business in Wall Street, he realized it was a club, and the game is rigged. Capisce? The game is rigged. Number 2, he said, the United States is nothing more than one big Ponzi scheme. Coming from the king of Ponzi, I believe that as well, because that's exactly what they're doing. By keeping the interest rates low, they're forcing you to gamble in the stock market because you can't put your money in the bank anymore and get any return on it. And they have to keep the Ponzi scheme going. So who gives the orders? Here it's very simple. Who was the Treasury Secretary under Bill Clinton?
Robert Rubin.
Mm-hmm. Where did he come from? Goldman Sachs.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the Treasury Secretary under George W. Bush?
Paulson.
Where was he from?
Goldman Sachs.
CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Goldman Sachs, walks out of the door of Goldman Sachs and into the Treasury Department.
And then Timothy
Who
Geithner.
did Obama just bring in as his new head of the chief of staff? He got rid of Rahm Emanuel.
William Daley. Mm-hmm.
And where's William Daley from? The vice chairman of J.P. Morgan Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Are you insinuating, Mr. Celente, that just because these people come from the high offices of these criminal organizations, that there's collusion going on? I mean, what 2-year-old could buy this story? Can't you see what's going on? Wall Street has hijacked Washington. This isn't socialism. The merger of state and corporate powers, by definition, according to Mussolini, who knew the definition very well, is called fascism. And fascism has come to America. It's not only at the TSA, it's at your bank. It's everywhere. The game is rigged.
And for people to do something about it, they've got to do what? Because it looks like the political game is rigged.
It is rigged. Remember, Jeff, remember the great historic midterm elections we just had?
Right.
You voted for the Gambinos or Bananos. And then people, I'll tell you, there's a great Hindu saying, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. The people have to get ready. They have to start finding the truth within themselves. They have to get strong physically, emotionally, and spiritually. When enough people find the truth within themselves, then the nation will change. Because when you find the truth, there's morality. And right now we're an immoral nation. It's a rip-off from the top to the bottom, from the corporations ripping the country off to the person, gaming the welfare system or trying to get a free ride on disability. So until this nation gets in a different direction, we're doomed.
It will continue. Gerald Celente, really appreciate your time. Look forward to doing it again very soon. Our friend from the trendsjournal.com. Always fascinating to discuss what's going on across the world with Gerald Celente.